page number 75. I'll continue from the top first line. Demosthenes did not hide his feelings from Satyrus. Now we read that Satyrus was following him and Satyrus was an actor. He followed him, and now when Satyrus started talking to Demosthenes, Demosthenes was very sad and he did not hide his feelings from Satyrus. Whatever he was feeling, he felt ashamed, he felt sad, he was in despair. He felt all this, so he discussed everything with Satyrus. He shared all his feelings with him. A sailor with a foolish story will make them applaud, while if I tell them tales of the glorious deeds of their own countrymen, they do not care, he said bitterly. Now what does this mean? It means that if you keep on telling all rotten stories and all foolish stories, people will applaud, people will give a lot of clapping to such kind of stories. But if you stand there and you discuss something which is very true about their own people, about their own countrymen, they will not believe it at all. So when you have people like this, you don't have to get sad about it, who do not understand what the real stories are and what the real struggles are. So you don't have to get sad about these people. You don't have to feel bad that what has happened, because these people, they do not actually understand the real stories. This is what it means. True, Demosthenes answered Satyrus, but I will tell you why it is so, if you will recite to me some lines from one of our great poets. Then Demosthenes recited some poems to him. Him over here is Satyrus, okay? So Satyrus said that you recite some poems, and Demosthenes started reciting the poems for Satyrus. He spoke the words correctly, but his voice was dull. So when he was reciting the poem, Satyrus found that he was speaking the words very, very clearly and correctly. He was speaking the words correctly, but while he was speaking, his voice was very, very dull, very weak, very slow, very soft. There was no expression in his voice, okay? Basically, it means that. There was awkwardness. Awkwardness means that he was not free. He was not speaking freely. He was not reciting the poems freely. There was awkwardness in the way he delivered the speech. When Demosthenes finished, Satyrus repeated the lines back to him. Demosthenes stood still with surprise. He could not believe that they were the same lines. The actor's eyes flashed. His voice rose and fell, and his body swayed as he spoke. So when the same lines are spoken by Satyrus, Demosthenes noticed all these things. What were the things which he noticed? That his voice was rising and falling. His body was swaying from when he was speaking. He was giving very, very nice expressions on his face. The actor's eyes was flashing, and very, very powerful voice he was speaking with. So this was a difference what Demosthenes found in his speech and Satyrus' speech. It was very powerful, and he loved the way Satyrus was giving this or reciting the same lines. Demosthenes understood why his speeches did not interest the Athenians. Athenians, I told you, that the people who stay in Athens, and Athens is a city, is a country. He realized that he must not only read or recite them, but also act them. So when Satyrus was delivering the poems, he was reciting the poems, Demosthenes understood that he should not only recite, or not only just read or recite the poem, but with the recitation he should give the expressions also. His voice tone should also change from high to the low pitch. Like for example, you see when you go for elocution competitions, how you recite a poem. You know, you give expressions, you change your voice tone, you give expressions on your face. So that is what Demosthenes understood, that not only reciting the poem will do, but the variation of the voice, the modulation of the tone, the expression on the face, the glitter in the eyes, all that has also to be brought when you are giving the speech.